Hello folks, Google has just launched its best normal phone of 2026. And no, it is not called the Pixel 11 Ultra. Google still refuses to use Samsung's favorite word, so the real name is Pixel 11 Pro XL. It starts at $1,299 in the United States, which is almost exactly the original starting price of the Galaxy S26 Ultra. Same category, same launch price, same basic promise. This is the Android phone you buy when the regular flagship apparently does not contain enough flagship. But these two phones make very different compromises. Both phones launched at essentially the same US price for 256GB, $1,299, but launch price is not purchase price. The Galaxy S26 Ultra has already been on sale for roughly 5 months, while the Pixel is brand new, and that's why comparing starting prices alone is pointless. The Galaxy has been on sale for several months now, and the real difference depends on the specific stores. That's exactly why I built Pricewake. If you find an S26 Ultra, a Pixel 11 Pro XL or any other product you're interested in at a specific store, simply send the product page link to Pricewake and set the price you're willing to pay. The service will monitor the page for you and notify you once your condition is met. So there's no need to keep going back to the store to check the price manually. You can find the link to Pricewake in the description. Give it a try and let me know how it works with the stores you use. Right now, feedback on my project is especially important to me. The Galaxy S26 Ultra is the larger phone, but somehow not the bulkier one. It measures 7.9mm thick and weighs 214 grams. The Pixel 11 Pro XL is slightly shorter and narrower, but it is 8.5mm thick and weighs 226 grams, so Samsung gives you the larger display while being 12 grams lighter and 0.6mm thinner. That is a real engineering win, especially when both phones are already roughly the size of a small emergency cutting board. Both have aluminum frames and IP68 water and dust resistance. Samsung uses Gorilla Armor 2 on the front and Victus 2 on the back. Google uses Victus 2 on both sides, plus a new anti-scratch coating on the display. The Pixel keeps Google's horizontal camera bar, now slimmer, and adds highlight colored LEDs around the flash that can show calls, Gemini activity, and eventually selected message notifications while the phone is face down. It is basically the notification LED returning after years in witness protection. Samsung has two hardware advantages Google cannot copy with software. The first is the built-in S Pen. The second is the privacy display, which can restrict side-angle visibility for the full screen, selected apps, notifications, or password entry. If you work on your phone, take notes, or often use it on public transport, those are not spec sheet decorations. They change how the device can be used. Design verdict: Samsung is thinner, lighter, and more functional. Pixel has the cleaner camera bar design, built-in Pixel Snap magnetic compatibility, and the more playful highlight system. Overall, I give this round to Samsung. The Galaxy has a 6.9-inch QHD Plus Dynamic AMOLED 2X panel. The Pixel uses a 6.8-inch Super Actual LTPO OLED at 1344 by 2992 pixels. Both can move between 1 and 120 Hz. Google claims up to 3600 nits of peak brightness, while Samsung lists 2600 nits. On paper, Pixel is brighter. Samsung answers with an anti-reflective display surface and the unique privacy display. Pixel answers with its anti-scratch coating and higher claimed peak brightness. If outdoor visibility is your only concern, Pixel looks excellent on paper. If glare control and privacy matter, Samsung has the more interesting display. I would call basic panel quality a draw and give Samsung the feature advantage. Samsung uses the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy and a redesigned vapor chamber. Google uses its new Tensor G6 with a Titan M3 security co-processor. Google says Tensor G6 delivers 25% faster web browsing and 15% quicker app launches than Tensor G5. It also has 50% more TPU compute, with much faster and more efficient on-device AI. Those are Google versus Google numbers, not proof that Tensor beats Snapdragon. There are no fair final cross-device benchmarks yet. Still, the priorities are obvious. Samsung built the S26 Ultra around raw flagship performance, gaming, cooling and pro video. Google built Tensor around its own AI, security and computational photography. If gaming and sustained heavy performance are the priority, Samsung is the safer choice. If you want Google's newest on-device AI features first, Pixel is the more tightly integrated machine. Both start with 12 GB of RAM and 256 GB of storage. Samsung keeps 12 GB of RAM in the 512 GB model and moves to 16 GB only at 1 TB. Google moves to 16 GB at both 512 GB and 1 TB. This is where the comparison becomes genuinely interesting. Samsung gives you 4 rear cameras, a 200-megapixel main camera, a 50-megapixel ultra-wide, a 10-megapixel 3x telephoto, and a 50-megapixel 5x telephoto. The dedicated 3x and 5x cameras make the Ultra more flexible across portraits, concerts, and distant subjects. It also reaches 100x digital zoom, although neither 100x nor Google's 120x should be confused with optical magic. Pixel has 3 rear cameras, a new 50-megapixel main sensor, a 48-megapixel ultra-wide with autofocus and macrofocus, and a redesigned 48-megapixel 5x telephoto. Google says the new telephoto captures 30% more light than before. It also supports 5x portrait mode, and Pro Zoom now reaches 120x. Pixel's biggest numerical advantage is actually on the front. Its selfie camera is 42 megapixels with autofocus and a very wide 103-degree field of view. Samsung uses a 12-megapixel autofocus selfie camera. Megapixels alone do not determine quality, but Pixel clearly offers more ambitious front camera hardware. For video, Samsung records 8K at 30 frames per second and 4K at up to 120 frames per second in Pro Video, and it supports the APV Professional codec. Pixel offers 8K at 24 or 30 frames per second through Video Boost, 4K at up to 60 frames per second, Pro Stable Video, and a dedicated creator suite. So on paper, Samsung wins for lens flexibility, native Pro Video options, and that useful dedicated 3x camera. Pixel looks extremely strong for selfies, computational photography, fast night sight, and simple point-and-shoot results. But the honest camera winner cannot be declared until both phones shoot the same scenes side by side. Pixel has the slightly larger battery, 5115 mAh versus 5000 in the Samsung. Both companies claim their phones can reach about 75% in around 30 minutes, but Samsung uses a 60-watt adapter, while Google specifies a 45-watt USB-C PPS charger. Neither charger is included. Both support wireless charging at up to 25 watts. Pixel has QI 2.2- certified Pixel Snap magnets built into the phone. Samsung promotes magnetic cases for alignment, so Pixel offers the cleaner out-of-the-box magnetic setup. Samsung fights back with wireless power share, allowing the phone to charge compatible earbuds, watches, and other devices from its back. The battery capacities are too close to predict a winner. Tensor efficiency, modem behavior, display brightness, and software matter more than a 115 mAh difference. Real endurance remains an unanswered question until independent tests arrive. Pixel ships with Android 17 and gives you Google's newest software first. It includes Gemini Intelligence, Gemini Nano, Live Translate, Magic Capture, Camera Coach, and the new Highlight system. Google promises 7 years of OS, security, and Pixel drop updates. The Galaxy S26 Ultra launched with Android 16 and One UI 8.5, but it is part of Samsung's One UI 9 beta program and is expected to move to Android 17. Samsung promises 7 generations of OS upgrades and 7 years of security updates. Samsung's advantage is depth. S Pen tools, DeX, good lock, stronger multitasking, more manual customization, Bixby, Gemini, and Perplexity all living on the same phone. Pixel's advantage is coherence, fewer overlapping systems, direct Google updates, and AI features designed around Google's own hardware from day one. If you love changing every corner of your interface and turning a phone into a small computer, Samsung wins. If you want the simplest route to Google's newest Android experience, Pixel wins. If both phones cost exactly the same, the Galaxy S26 Ultra is the stronger all-round hardware package. It is thinner and lighter, has the S Pen privacy display, a dedicated 3x camera, more flexible zoom, stronger Pro Video options, and a performance platform that is the safer bet for gaming. Choose the Pixel 11 Pro XL if you specifically want Google's camera style, the 42-megapixel selfie camera, built-in magnetic pixel snap charging, faster access to new Android features, and the cleanest version of the Google AI ecosystem. But if the Galaxy is meaningfully cheaper in your market, the decision becomes much easier. Samsung offers more hardware for less money. Pixel only remains the better choice if you actively prefer the Pixel experience. And that may be Google's biggest problem this year. It finally built a very serious ultra-class phone, then forgot to call it Ultra and launched it against a Samsung that has already started getting cheaper.